And thank you so much for talking to us here on KTN News Center this morning. Always a pleasure getting to know, information from you about the details of education, the education situation in the northeastern region, specifically Wajir. Kindly bring us up to date.
Good morning, Brenda. Yeah, you are right. The education crisis in northern Kenya has been, it's been a challenge for a long time, because after the teachers were transferred by the Teacher Service Commission earlier 2020, and the subsequent outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in the country, the reopening of schools earlier this year has not been the same as other parts of the country, because the Ministry of Education did outline strategies or regulations that the schools are supposed to adhere to. The social distancing techniques has been the biggest problem so far, because the Ministry of Education, as well as the Health Ministry rather, have put in place regulations such as a class should be about 20 to 25 learners. Now, this has posed the biggest problem, because remember that these institutions had earlier on faced challenges of teachers. The teachers were transferred by the TSC because of insecurity and the Al-Shabaab menace in that area. Now, that has now left the residents in that area at a disadvantaged point, because remember that once you transfer teachers and you say that a class should be about 20 to 25, then it means more teachers are required. Well, that has not happened in northern Kenya. The main towns, that is Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera, have also been hit hard, because the Teacher Service Commission transferred teachers from those areas, despite the fact that those areas had lesser security problems. Places like Wajir has not had a security problem, an insecurity problem within it in the last 4 years. So now that has now posed a bigger problem. So Brenda, the institutions now have been left in a situation which they are on the threat of closure. Because remember that once these institutions required more teachers to be brought to them, and now they have been left in a situation in which the head teachers or the school principals are the only ones who are now running the schools. Right. So it is a challenge in that area, Brenda, as we speak.
Right. And how many schools have so far been affected in terms of reopening, or probably they've reopened and they don't have enough teachers?
Well, the details, we haven't yet got the details, because the schools, the teacher service, the NAT officials in Wajir are saying that, especially in Wajir County, there are more than 96 schools that are run by a teacher. That's one teacher alone. Garissa, more than 100, and Mandera, the same, because schools within the main towns are the ones even who are now coming out in the public and saying that we need this issue to be solved. A school that has around 800 learners has now left in a situation in which they only depend on less than 8 or 7 teachers. So what happens to the schools in the outskirts, the regions? Remember that in Wajir, for instance, Wajir East constituency has been one of the areas that has been affected heavily or badly by the teachers' exodus because of the threat of Al-Shabaab. But if Wajir town itself has those challenges, well, then you can see that this challenge is huge. However, we have not yet got the full details about the number of teachers who left, because the Teacher Service Commission did not share with the media or the journalists that are coming from the region. However, we know that many schools are without teachers, and this has rather been aggregated by the teachers' exodus and the COVID-19 pandemic, because some of the schools I visited, Brenda, we have seen that they had a lot of desks, a lot of educational instruments outside classes. So it's a very, very bad situation as we speak.
And Hamed, some time back, I remember when teachers were asking the employer, the TSC, to remove them from the northeastern region because of matters in security. Locals were thinking and urging the TSC of having the local teachers take the job, be employed, and now be teachers to the students who are suffering because they don't have teachers to teach. Is that an option they're trying to pursue right now, of having the locals be teachers to these learners?
Well, yes, it is an option that probably these schools have, because the untrained teachers can, in one way or another, try to fill the gap that has been left by this exodus. However, it is not a long-term solution. And the number of people who are coming forward to take these jobs, rather, are very minimal. We have seen leaders and even elders from the region calling on the graduates, rather, the secondary school graduates from the region to take these jobs. However, until now, the number of untrained teachers remains very minimal, because in one way or another, not many have taken those jobs. However, now, some of the locals that I spoke to, they are talking about the leaders. They are blaming the leaders from the region, because they're saying that they always don't give priority to matters of education, matters of health. We have seen many of these leaders beating drums for the Building Bridges initiative. We have not seen the same when it comes to the teacher problem in northern Kenya. The Teacher Service Commission still says that we are not going to risk more teachers in this region, and it is up to the leaders and probably the elders to come up with solutions on how this area can be secured. However, since the COVID-19 outbreak, no solution has been brought forward. We have just seen one or two leaders who are speaking about it. However, majority of them have been silent about this tragedy. It is now becoming something that we are going to talk about it. Probably even 1 year from now, it is going to be there, because Al-Shabaab seems to be to continue the offensive in the northeastern region. They have targeted teachers. We have seen so many teachers lose their life. The last one that happened in Garissa, where 3 teachers lost their life. Now we are seeing, again, threats of Al-Shabaab, especially this time in which there is diplomatic problems between Kenya and Somalia.
Right.
We've seen Governor for Mandera, Ali Roberts, say that Al-Shabaab have succeeded in ensuring that the teacher crisis in Northeastern continues for a long time. And so the solution needs to be found. However, at the moment, the situations remain very, very dire, Brenda.
All right, thank you so much, my colleague Ahmed, talking to us from our city center studios, just painting for us a picture on the education situation in the northeastern region. We hope that the government, through the Ministry of Education and also the Teachers Employer, TSC, will find a lasting solution to this, because all learners have the right to education. A developing story right there. We'll continue giving you more updates later on, as and when we get it through my colleague Ahmed, who's talked to us from our city center studios now. Locusts have been spotted in Meru County, and residents there now want adequate measures put in place to stop them.